The majority of people do not like talking about money, yet everybody wants more of it, even me. But because we do not like talking about money as much, many of us do not understand how the game of money works. The common misconception is that you have to work really hard for a long period of time and that's how you get rich. But as many of you know, you can work your butt off yet still struggle day to day to pay your bills. And the reason for this is because there's much more to money than just simply how you make it. There's also the concept of how you use money, how you think about money, and understanding how money works in our society. So in today's video, I'll be sharing some of the things that I've learned about money on my financial journey, as well as some strategies that you can start implementing into your lives to hopefully create a plan for a better financial future. So no more wasting time, let's get right into this video. Now, if I can summarize this whole video into one sentence, it is this. You want to learn to use money, not just to survive the game, but to level up in the game. Now, I like to use video gaming terms to explain things in my videos, so I want you to imagine this. If life was a video game, then money is an extremely important resource in this world. You'll be using money for everything in this game. So depending on how you allocate the money, it's going to determine how far you're able to progress through the game. If you're only using all your money to survive, to get by, then you're only going to stay at level 1. You're not going to progress through the game. So the simple truth is this. You want to find a way to allocate money into the bucket where you're able to use it to level up. So I'm going to break this down a little bit more. When I say surviving in the game, this is paying your bills, paying your debt, doing your everyday stuff, things that you need to use money to actually survive. And when I say leveling up, what I mean by this is not just simply buying a better car or getting a better home, going on more vacations. Leveling up means using that money in a way that you're able to generate more money, put yourself in a better financial situation. The more money you're able to allocate to the other bucket to level up, the more financially successful you will be. That there is the equation you need to understand. The biggest barrier that many of us are facing when it comes to money is the whole concept of debt. Our society is facing a debt crisis. This is further exaggerated by inflation, rising interest rates, all these things. We don't have time to really get into the nitty-gritty stuff, but just understand that debt is what is keeping many of us from achieving the financial future that we want. And this is because our society has really normalized debt. I mean, credit card debt, student loans, and that's actually resuming very soon. And then we have auto loans, mortgages, all these sorts of things. And this doesn't just apply to me and you. This also applies to the US government, who's up to $32 trillion in debt. That's an insane amount. Now, I don't mean to demonize debt. In fact, using debt smartly can actually be a way to generate a lot of wealth in the future. Think of debt as a double-edged sword, right? On one end, if you're using it well, you can cut down a lot of obstacles in your life. But if you're not careful, you will hurt and you will cut your own self. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, a YouTuber that I follow, discussed the concept of wage slavery, which is when people are stuck in this loop where they're forced to work to actually make an income just so that they can survive and pay off their debt. So whether they like their work or they want to work, they are forced to do it just so that they can survive. And being stuck in that loop can be a very terrifying thing, and I know many people are feeling that as well. But if this is so terrifying, being stuck in the loop of only working to pay off your debt, then why do people keep on doing this? Why do people keep on putting themselves in situations where they must work to just barely pay off their debt? And I think this whole concept really stems from our perception on what being successful is. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I was given a very linear path towards success. I was supposed to graduate college, get a great job, get a great income, and then start to settle down with a partner, start a family, get a house, go on more vacations, get a bigger house, get more kids. But as you can see, each of these steps require more and more money. So what happens if I'm not able to make enough money to take on all these steps? Now, most people are peer pressured by their family, by society, to actually go on all these steps to actually show that they're progressing in life. But the problem here is this, is that if you're not making enough money to actually get to the next step, what do? Well, you simply take on debt. Right? So people take on more and more debt. They get a bigger house, they get a bigger car, they get a bigger family, go on more vacations, even though their wages and the money they're making is not able to sustain their lifestyle. So all their money now is going into surviving, into sustaining the life that they're trying to do, but not really going up into the leveling up portion that we were discussing earlier. So you can see why people get stuck in this loop of only working just so that they can barely sustain their lives. And I think this whole situation around debt and wage slavery is getting more and more exaggerated just because of how our economy is doing, right? There's inflation, there's rising interest rates, and this is making a lot of things more expensive, is making debt more expensive to pay off, yet our wages are growing slower and slower. So people are feeling poorer, they're getting more stressed, they're feeling they need to work more, and they're getting more unsatisfied in their lives. And this is an extremely dangerous spiral. So what I want to actually help with is help you be aware on what are the steps you need to take, what are the things you need to start thinking about, so that way you can plan ahead, so you don't get trapped in this cycle and actually realize you need to escape it when it's already too late. Alright, so let's move on to some solutions. Enough of the doom and gloom stuff, right? So the one thing you need to understand about financial success, like many other things in life, is that it needs two things. It needs consistency and it needs patience. Now, the majority of people who are stuck in the loop, actually working, paying off the wages, just trying to survive, are hoping for a miracle. They're hoping to hit it big suddenly, hoping that suddenly they're gonna get a great raise and that way they're able to be more financially successful. But let me tell you that financial success isn't just a one-time event. You cannot just do it one time and hope to be set for the rest of your life. Financial success happens in a slow and steady pace over the long term. You have to do something consistently over a long period of time in order to see any sort of financial success. So I don't mean to disappoint you. There is no magic solution, no get-rich-quick scheme. I want to be very, very honest, very straightforward to you that being successful takes a long period of time and it happens very slowly. But the sooner you realize this, the sooner you snap out of actually daydreaming. Because what happens is the majority of people get distracted, just dreaming of a better financial future, but don't take the necessary steps to get there. So the sooner that you stop doing that, the sooner you can make a plan and actually execute. And the whole idea of making this plan is you want to start understanding that you have to use that money not just to survive, but to allocate it into the bucket we're going to use it to level up. This doesn't have to be difficult, it doesn't have to be too complicated, it can be little tweaks to your life, and I'm actually going to give you 3 that I personally use to hopefully get a better financial future. So let's check it out. The first thing you should start doing is pay yourself first. Now when I say pay yourself first, I don't mean treating yourself to a fancy meal or buying some fancy gadgets. When I say pay yourself first, is to allocate money from whatever income that you're making into the bucket that you're going to use to level up before you do the rest of it. What the majority of people do is that they're going to spend their money on all paying off all the bills, having fun, and then with whatever is left over, or worse still, maybe none of it's left over, then put it into the bucket where they can use it to invest and do all that kind of stuff to level up. But you need to flip the script. Just assume that you don't have any self-control, because at the end of the day, you need to grow the bucket that you're going to use to level up. If there's no money going into that bucket, then you're going to be stuck in the loop of being a wage slave, of only working to pay off your debt. So you have to force yourself to put money into the other bucket before you allocate money into everything else. But then many people might find this problem like, oh, my debt and my payments for my house and everything is already so much, I can barely afford to put any money into the other bucket. And if you're in that situation, you have to understand this. You have to find a way to make it work. Because if you're not going to put money into the other bucket, sure, you can sustain your lifestyle, do whatever you gotta do, but just know that nothing's going to change. You're going to be stuck in the same situation, working that job, going through the loop, just simply paying off your debt, and nothing's going to change. But if you start allocating money into the other bucket, then in time that bucket will grow enough that you can escape that loop. So the question that you need to ask yourself is, what can you do to lower your expenses? Maybe you can move into a smaller home, downgrade your car, maybe save on expenses or not actually eating out as much. I know this is difficult to do, but if you want to escape the loop and be more financially successful in the future, you have to make the sacrifices now. It's something that most people don't like to hear, but this is really, really important to share, especially in a time where we are facing a debt crisis. Be very, very careful how you allocate your money. Use your money to pay yourself first and to level up, not just simply to survive and barely get by. The second thing you need to do is seek financial education. Now, I'm only one person sharing one perspective about one topic. Now, when it comes to money, it is a very, very broad topic. There are many people sharing it. I have more videos on my channel about it. But what you need to understand is that if you want to get good at something, you need to start learning about it. So getting financially educated is one of the things you need to consistently do for a long period of time. Now, this doesn't have to be really, really intense. Like, you don't have to sit down 8-10 hours a day and study about money. In fact, I don't even encourage that. But do dedicate, maybe an hour or 2 every single week just to get an idea of, how should I diversify my portfolio, ideas on how you can generate more income, ideas on how you can save money. There's so many different things, and the best part is we're lucky enough to live in the age of the internet. All you have to do is type a simple search term and you're gonna have hundreds hundreds of results and solutions that you can start implementing into your life. Yeah, sure, not all of them are going to work for you, but it is a start, right? It is ideas, it's advice that you can try it out, use it, see if it works, and if it doesn't, that's why you go back to the drawing board and educate yourself again. As you do this more and more, not only will you get more educated, but your mindset about money is going to change. You're going to get better ideas about the opportunities you can take. You can get better ideas on what you can actually do to be more financially successful. And this closely ties into the first step, because as you allocate more and more money into the bucket to level up, you're going to want to learn how to use that money efficiently to level up. You don't want to use that money blindly just to kind of throw it everywhere and then there's no point in it, right? You want to learn how to use it effectively, and that's where the education portion comes in. As for the last thing you can do is automate your investments. Now, this is a personal one that I religiously follow. It might be different for other people, but I think automating your investments is an extremely effective strategy to stay consistent over the long term. And as you know, when it comes to money, staying consistent and patient over the long term is how you become wealthy. Now, automating your investments is very, very effective because it eliminates one thing. It eliminates your emotions when it comes to money. Now, when it comes to money, people are extremely iffy when it comes to their emotions. When you're making a lot of money, you get too excited, you make bad decisions. And when you're losing money, you get too fearful and you're afraid to make any decisions. So automating your investments either on a weekly or a monthly basis is going to force you to use the money that you've been saving to level up and to actually put it so that your money can start growing. But how do you know what investments to do? Well, that's going to come from all the education that you're doing. So you can start to see how the three concepts, how the three steps tie together. You need to do all three over a long period of time consistently, and in time you will see an improvement in your financial status. So to recap, step number one is pay yourself first. Make sure you're allocating money into the bucket you're going to use to level up before you put it into your other expenses. Number two, make sure you're seeking financial education, so you're going to be constantly improving on learning the opportunities, learning what you need to do with the money that you're saving up. And then number three is automate your investments, so that way you're going to be able to stay consistent to use your money to grow your money. If you're able to do this for a long period of time, it is almost impossible that you won't be financially successful. The idea here is you want to increase your allocation to these things. The more that you're able to pay yourself, the more that you're able to learn about money, and the more you're able to automate for your investments, the more financially successful you will be. Of course, there's going to be many more things that you can start doing, and that's going to come from you learning other steps. But these are the three things that I do on a consistent basis on improving my own financial journey. So I just want to end the video with this, that financial success starts with you. You have to make the decisions, you have to make the changes, and you have to ask the hard questions if you want to improve on your financial future. Now, it's not necessarily going to be easy, but it can be something that is extremely rewarding. And when it comes to life, just because something is easy doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing, because you're going to have to make some difficult decisions, you're going to make some sacrifices, and you're going to need to do some things that are out of the norm. But if you are one of the people who are seeking financial freedom, seeking a better financial future, then these are the steps you can start taking to actually do that. So I really hope that you enjoyed the video and you take some value from it. And if you did, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. As always, I'm the nerdy one and I use video games to gamify growth. So if you enjoy these kind of videos, go ahead and check out more of this kind of content over here, and I'm going to see you in the very next one. Thank you very much, and I'll see you very soon. Take care. Peace.